Hello, my name is Ilara. My mother, Anna, used to say that we were a team. It was us against the world. And it always felt that way. My mother was my best friend. She was a kind, gentle, and brilliant woman. She was the founder of Anna's Designs, a high-end interior design company she built from nothing. She had a gift for seeing the beauty in things. She could walk into an empty, broken room and see a palace. I think that is how she saw my father. Before we move forward, show a little love. Please take a second to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment where in the world you're listening from. I love seeing how far my stories travel. My father, Marcus, was the other half of the company. But he was not the artist. He was the businessman. He was cold, charming, and cared only about numbers. My mother saw the beauty in things. My father saw the price tags. As I grew up, it felt less like a partnership and more like a cage. He managed her money. He managed her schedule. He managed her. And I watched my bright, happy mother become quiet. Then Isabel arrived. She was my father's new executive assistant. She was young, sharp, and looked at my father with a hunger that made me feel sick. My mother, Anna, was kind to her. Of course she was. She was kind to everyone. But I saw the signs, the late-night meetings that my mother was not invited to. The scent of Isabel's sharp, expensive perfume on my father's suit when he came home late. The way he would laugh at his phone and then quickly hide the screen when my mother walked into the room. I saw the way my mother would stand at the kitchen window, just looking out into the dark, her shoulders shaking. She was not just sad, she was disappearing. And then she got sick. It was not a cold. It was not the flu. It was something else. It was fast. One day she was just tired. A week later, she could not walk up the stairs. She was weak. Her heart, the doctors said. A rare, aggressive virus that was attacking her heart muscle. They were confused. They had never seen anything move so fast. I was devastated. I quit my college classes to be with her. I sat by her hospital bed and held her hand. Her hand, which was always so warm and strong, was now so cold. My father, Marcus, was a perfect picture of a grieving husband. He would come to the hospital. He would talk to the doctors. He would look brave, but I saw him. I saw him in the hallway on the phone with Isabel, his voice low and urgent. He was talking about stock transfers. He was talking about managing the company. He was already taking over. He was not grieving. He was efficient. It all happened in 1 month. 1 month from the first doctor's visit to the last day. I was there. I was holding her hand. The machines were beeping. She looked at me. She tried to smile. She whispered my name, Ilara, and then she was gone. The machines made one long, terrible, flat sound. My world ended. My best friend, my team, it was all gone. My father put his hand on my shoulder. He was standing right behind me. She is at peace now, he said. His voice was calm, too calm. I felt nothing. Just a cold, empty, terrible silence. I was alone. The funeral was 3 days later. It was a blur. I was numb. I felt like I was floating, watching myself from the ceiling. My father, Marcus, had been handling the arrangements. But really, he was handling the business. He was at his office in meetings. We have to protect your mother's legacy, he told me. The company cannot stop. I was the one who had to go to the funeral home. I was the one who had to pick out the casket. I was the one who had to choose the flowers. He was too grieving to be bothered with the details. The day of the funeral was cold. It was a gray, dark, rainy day. I stood under a big black umbrella. I watched the few guests arrive. My mother's friends, a few of her employees. They all came up to me. They hugged me. They told me they were so sorry for my loss. Their eyes were full of pity. I just nodded. I could not speak. I stood in the front row. There was an empty chair next to me. A single empty folding chair where my father, Marcus, was supposed to be. He was not there. He had sent me an email. Not a phone call, an email. At 6 in the morning. Ilara, I am too devastated to be there today. I cannot watch them put her in the ground. I have to get away. I have to process this. Isabel is taking me to grieve, to find some peace. I will be back in a week. Please handle everything. I know you are strong. Isabel is taking me. The words echoed in my head. He was not grieving. He was on vacation with his mistress. He could not even wait. He could not even pretend for one day to be her husband. He could not be my father. I felt nothing. The sadness was so big it had turned into a cold, hard, empty space. I was alone. I was completely, totally alone. I watched them lower my mother's casket into the ground. I was the only one there who truly loved her. I threw the first handful of dirt. It hit the wood with a hollow final sound. That night the house was silent. My father was gone. My mother was gone. It was just me. I was an orphan. I was 20 years old. I walked into my mother's bedroom. It still smelled like her, like lavender and old books. I lay on her bed, and for the first time, I cried. I cried for my mom. I cried for my dad's betrayal. I cried because I was so scared. I cried myself to sleep. And then a sound woke me up. A buzz, my phone. It was on the nightstand. It was midnight. The house was pitch black. My phone buzzed again. A new text message. I picked it up. My eyes were blurry from crying. I looked at the screen. The screen was glowing. The message was from Mom. My heart stopped. It just stopped. This was a cruel joke. It was my father. It was Isabel. They were trying to hurt me. I was so angry. I was about to throw the phone, but my hand was shaking. I opened the message. There were only 9 words. Come to the cemetery. Midnight. I'm not dead. Come alone. Trust no one. I read the words once, twice, 10 times. I'm not dead. It was a lie. It was a trick. It was impossible. I had held her hand. I saw her die. I saw them lower the casket, but what if? What if it was not a joke? What if it was real? My mind was racing. Trust no one. That part, that felt like her. That felt like the woman who had watched her husband lie to her for a year. I had to know. I had to know, even if it was a trap. I had to know. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely find my car keys. My mind was screaming at me. You are crazy, Alara. You are grieving. You are having a breakdown. This is a trap. But my heart was beating with a tiny, impossible spark of hope. Come alone. Trust no one. This was not my father. This was not Isabel. They would not be this clever. This was something else. I drove. I did not turn on my headlights until I was out of my neighborhood. The streets were empty. It was almost 1 a.m. The cemetery gates were closed, but I knew a place where the fence was low. I parked my car down the street. It was dark. It was foggy. The classic, terrifying scene. Every sound made me jump. The crunch of my own feet on the gravel. The hoot of an owl. My heart was a hammer in my chest. I found her grave. It was so new. The dirt was still a dark, fresh mound. The flowers from the funeral were already starting to wilt. It was real. She was gone. I felt a wave of crushing disappointment. I was a fool. I was a grieving, stupid girl chasing a ghost. It took you long enough, a voice whispered from the darkness. I screamed. I spun around. A figure stepped out from behind a large stone angel. A person in a dark coat with a hood pulled low. My heart stopped. Mom? I whispered. The word was a puff of air. The figure reached up and pulled back the hood. It was her. It was my mother, Anna. She was not in a hospital gown. She was thin. She was pale. She looked so tired. But she was breathing. She was alive. I could not breathe. My vision went black at the edges. My knees gave out. I collapsed onto the wet grass. It cannot be. I saw you. I saw you die. I know, baby. I am real, she said. She rushed to me. She knelt on the ground. She held my face in her cold hands. I am real. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I had to. I had to let you grieve. I had to let everyone think I was dead. Or he would have known. I was in shock. Then the shock turned into anger. A white-hot burning rage. Why? I cried. I was sobbing. Why would you do this to me? I buried you. I stood here and I buried you. I thought you left me. I thought I was alone. I know, she whispered. Her own eyes were full of tears, and that is the part I will never forgive myself for. But Alara, you have to listen to me. I was not sick. I was confused. What? What do you mean? The doctors. The virus? There was no virus, she said. Her voice was ice. I was being poisoned. My blood went cold. Poisoned? By your father, she said. By Marcus, and by her, Isabel. I found the pills. He was replacing my heart medication. For weeks, he was slowly, carefully killing me. I heard them talking. They were getting impatient. They were going to give me a final large dose. They were going to kill me before I could change my will. The will he made me sign 5 years ago. The one that leaves him in full control of my company, my money, my life. I could not speak. He had not just been cheating. He had been planning to murder her. I had no choice, she said. I could not go to the police. He is too connected. He would have known. He would have finished the job. I had to disappear. I had to die, so I called the one person I could trust. Dr. Evans, his family. I helped them years ago. I gave them the money to start his medical practice. He owed me. He faked my death certificate. He paid a nurse to let me slip out of the morgue. He told everyone I died of a sudden, catastrophic heart failure. And your father. He believed it. He was so happy he did not even look twice. I was shaking my head. But the casket, we buried. He is not the only one who can make a plan, my mother said. She looked different. She was not the sad, quiet woman I knew. She was strong. She was angry. The casket is not empty, Ilara. I had to hide it. I had to hide it somewhere he would never look. Somewhere he would be too grieving to go near. She stood up. She walked to the grave, and she picked up a shovel. She had been digging. What are you doing? I asked. I am getting my life back, she said. She handed me a flashlight. Hold this. She was not just digging. She had already dug. The dirt was loose. She was pulling at the top of the casket. It was not a real casket. It was a decoy, a shell. She grabbed a crowbar. She pried the top open. It opened with a gasp of air. I pointed the flashlight inside. It was not empty. There was no body. There was a large, black, fireproof safe. I bought it 2 days after I found the pills, she said. I had it delivered to the funeral home, not the house. Dr. Evans handled it. Marcus just signed the checks. He did not care. She opened the safe. Inside was a laptop, a new will dated 2 weeks ago, and several small plastic bags. One was full of pills. One was a small digital audio recorder. This, she said, holding up the recorder, is a recording of your father and Isabel, planning how they were going to kill me. And this, she held up the laptop, is every dollar he has been stealing from my company. All his offshore accounts, all his secret transfers to her. I am not just not dead, Ilara. I am here to take back my company, and I am here to send your father to jail. We were a new team. We were not just a mother and daughter. We were survivors. We were soldiers. We put the empty safe back in the empty casket. We covered it with dirt. We made the grave look as normal as a grave can look. Then we disappeared into the night. My mother, Anna, had a secret. A small, simple apartment across town. It was under a fake name. It was the one thing she had kept from my father. It was her escape plan. It was now our war room. For 2 weeks, we lived in that apartment. We did not turn on the lights at night. We did not order food. We lived on microwaved meals. And we planned. Ilara, the grieving college student, was gone. I was now a co-conspirator. I was my mother's agent in the real world. She could not be seen, but I could. I went to her bank. I used a power of attorney she had given me, one that my father did not know about. I set up new accounts. I was her eyes and ears. My mother, she was a different person. The sad, gentle woman I knew was gone. She was replaced by a cold, brilliant, angry strategist. She was the CEO she had been before my father buried her. We went over the evidence. The audio recording was horrifying. It was Marcus and Isabel laughing about how weak my mother was, how easy it would be. They called her the Golden Goose. They talked about their trip to the Caribbean. They had planned it as a celebration for after her death. The pills, the bank transfers. She had it all. He is not just a cheater, my mother said, her voice like steel. He is a thief, and he is a monster, and we are going to expose him. While we were hiding, the monsters came home. Marcus and Isabel returned from their grieving trip. They were tan. They were all smiles. I saw them. I accidentally ran into my father at his office. I played the part of the broken, grieving daughter. Dad, I cried. You are back. He held me. His hug was so fake, so cold, it made my skin crawl. Ilara, he said, his voice full of fake sadness. I'm so sorry I left you. I was a mess. Isabel was there. She had the nerve to look at me with pity. We are here for you now, Ilara, she said, touching my arm. I wanted to hit her. Instead, I just cried. I am so alone, I whispered. I do not know what to do. The company, the will. Mom told me you would handle everything. My father's eyes lit up. This was what he wanted to hear. Do not you worry your pretty little head, he said, patting my shoulder. I have it all under control. I am meeting with the lawyer tomorrow. We will execute your mother's will. She left everything to me, to manage for the family. We are safe, Ilara. We are all safe. He was lying. We knew the will he had. It was a fake, a forgery, one he had created 6 months ago. The real will, the one in my mother's safe. That one left everything, 100%, to me. And it named my father as the man who should be investigated, not rewarded. The lawyer, my mother said, back in our secret apartment. That is the key. Your father is arrogant. He thinks everyone is as corrupt as he is. He is using my old lawyer, Mr. Harris. But Mr. Harris is your lawyer, I said. Exactly, my mom replied. And Marcus thinks he is a greedy old fool. He is not. He is an honest man. And he is my friend. My mother as a ghost had been very busy. She had already met with Mr. Harris. He knew the entire plan. The trap was set. Mr. Harris, the lawyer, called my father. He told him that in order to look good for the board of directors, he needed to make a big public show of his grief. Your wife was a beloved woman, Marcus, the lawyer said. The board is nervous. They see you with your new assistant. They see you taking over. It looks bad. You need to show them you are grieving. You need to show them you are honoring her. What do you mean? My father asked. Host a party, the lawyer said. A celebration of life at your home. Invite the whole board. Invite all your friends. Give a big speech about Anna. Show them you are the sad, loving husband. Then, the next day, we will have the final signing. The board will see you as a hero. You will get everything. My father loved the idea. A party where he could be the star, the grieving, powerful widower. He and Isabel planned it immediately. It was not a memorial. It was a victory party. The night of the party arrived. Our old house was full of people, all of my father's powerful fake friends. They were all wearing black. They were all drinking my mother's expensive champagne. Isabel was acting as the hostess, her hand on my father's arm. It was disgusting. I was there, of course, playing my part, the sad, broken little girl in a simple black dress. People kept coming up to me telling me how brave I was. My father was soaking in the sympathy. At 9 o'clock, he stood up. He tapped a glass of champagne. Friends, he said. His voice was thick with fake emotion. Thank you for coming. This is a hard night, but it is also a celebration. A celebration of my beloved departed wife, Anna. She was a wonderful woman. She was the love of my life. I felt my stomach turn. I wanted to scream. She would want us to move on, he continued. She would want us to be happy. She would want us to live our lives to the fullest. And I promise you, I will spend the rest of in my life honoring her memory. She certainly would, Marcus, a voice said. The voice was clear. It was strong. It was not me. The voice came from the double doors of the living room. The room went silent. Every head turned. The doors swung open, and there she was. My mother, Anna, she was not in a funeral dress. She was not a ghost. She was in a stunning, powerful, bright red suit. She looked vibrant. She looked healthy. She looked alive. The room just stopped. Marcus's face did not just go pale. It went white. It was the color of bone. He dropped his champagne glass. It shattered on the marble floor. Isabel just shrieked. It was a high, thin animal sound. She stumbled backward. It cannot be, Marcus whispered. You are dead! Hello, Marcus, my mother said. She walked into the room. I walked up and stood right next to Dee. Her. We were a team again. You seem disappointed to see me, she said. Her voice was cold. I am so sorry to interrupt your party. But you forgot something. On cue, 2 men in dark suits walked in behind her. They were not party guests. They were police detectives. You forgot the evidence, my mother said. I stepped forward. I was not the sad little girl anymore. I was holding a small digital audio recorder. He tried to murder her, I said, my voice ringing through the silent room. For all of this, for her company, for her money, he and his mistress Isabel, they poisoned her. I pressed play, and the sound of my father's voice and Isabel's filled the room, laughing. She is so weak. It will be so easy. Just a few more pills. The golden goose. We will be in the Caribbean before she is even cold. Isabel collapsed. She just fell on the floor, sobbing. He made me do it, she screamed. He made me. Marcus did not move. He was a statue. He was staring at my mother. His face was a mask of pure, unadulterated hate. You witch, he hissed. Take them, my mother said. The detectives walked forward. They pulled Marcus's hands behind his back. They pulled a sobbing Isabel up from the floor. "Marcus," one detective said, "you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder." The room was chaos. The guests were screaming, running for the door. Marcus was fighting. "She is a ghost. It is a trick. It is not real," he screamed as they dragged him out of the house. It was over. The house was finally quiet. It was just me and my mom. We stood in the middle of the room, surrounded by broken glass. I looked at her. "You did it," I said. She smiled. A real, true smile. The first one I had seen in years. "No, Ilara," she said. She took my hand. "We did it." The next day, we met with Mr. Harris. The real will was filed. The company was mine. But my mother was the CEO again. She was back. My father and Isabel were in jail. They would not be getting out. I thought back to that night, the text message that changed my life. "I'm not dead." My mother had not just been telling me a fact. She was telling me a promise. She was not the weak, sad, quiet woman anymore. She was not a victim. She had not just not died. She was, for the first time in my life, truly, fully, and powerfully alive.